Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk.
Well, we have a special emergency podcast, guys. Good Lord mercy, SEC football. Stuff's going wild. 9 conference games as of Greg Sankey. As of just a couple of hours ago. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with me here Thursday night show, as we usually do about this time. We usually go on at 6, but today going to be going on at 5. Got to get out here at 6, headed to a high school football game. So what does this mean? What are you talking about, Matt? Why is it an emergency podcast? SEC, emergency. 9 conference games will be played next year. This is something we've been talking about on and off all through the summer. We felt like the brand of football that the SEC plays, that for sure, no doubt. We're also going to talk about high school games that are, well, crap. Why do that? High school games that are going to be, we'll be going over Sandrock tonight. They're taking on Spring Garden. Going to look at that game. So y'all hang around. But today, this is big news. It is. SEC, it just means more. SEC. New conference games. They're going to be playing 9 conference games. So we've talked about this all through the summer. And there's a good and bad to it. Please share your comments over here. If you're on Facebook, hit the little blue thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up over there too. Helps out more than you even know. And if you'd like to keep up with us on every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, let you know when we go live. So with that being said, could be a good thing or it could be bad. Please tell me your opinions on this. Do you like the SEC playing 9 conference games? The Big Ten does it. And our argument through the summer, through me and I guess SEC Mike and some other guys, and I really hadn't heard the Crane boys speak much on this. I really hadn't. To add another conference game, I mean, as a fan of the game, sure, I can go along with saying, God, I mean, you could get Alabama and Florida back, all the time. Like they could be another, game added to the schedule. They would play regularly. That's definitely something that would be worth talking about. It'd be enjoyable. I would enjoy that. I think everybody would. What about Auburn and Tennessee or something? I don't know. What about that? Maybe get a LSU South Carolina matchup, something like that. And making sure that we're keeping, the games that are, the necessary games. Alabama, Auburn, and Auburn and Georgia. We can talk about this now. Since, we're here talking about this 9 conference game schedule for 9 conference games for the SEC from now on. That may do away with Auburn and Georgia. You got to think of it from a business perspective. Number one, is it going to be what's best? For Auburn right now, for them to continue to play Georgia, they're not going to dump the Iron Bowl. I don't guess. Does it make sense for Alabama to dump Tennessee? Well, probably not because they've dominated the series. But Georgia's dominated that series with Auburn, and it's just not productive for them just to continually, schedule them and just keep losing the game. Now they're going to have to add another conference game. Maybe they get rid of Georgia and add Florida and Ole Miss or something, because we know that most of the other 14 teams, they're not going to want to play Alabama and Georgia. Okay? They're the leaders of the pack. Alabama's been carrying the conference for a long time, and they went in 9 games last year. The sky has fallen for most of the fans, and they're silly, and they think that just winning 9 games is bad. So the good side is, as a fan, yeah, you'd like to see that. You'd like to see Bama and Florida hooking back up again all the time, regularly. So, again, this is SEC new conference games. It's going to be added. What here's the hardest part about it. Okay, this is what I'll say. And then we got to add another element. There's another part to this too that's that may get looked over, and everybody may not say something about it, but I will, because it's part of it. I mean, this is coming from Greg Sankey. What about South Carolina? What about South Carolina? Well, what about them, Matt? Well, they're going to have to play their 9 conference games. And that only gives three other open spots. Well, their rival is Clemson. And Clemson's the top, I guess, 15 team most all the time, right? So that leaves 2 more spots. And here's the other element. This is the other part to it. This is the other part to that element. Not only now is South Carolina going to have to play Clemson, because that's their – I mean, I guess they won't have to. They could dump that game, but, I mean, do you really want to do that? But now that gives them 10. That leaves them 2 open days. Now they're going to have to also, as a stipulation to this, see, the Big Ten, this is where they've squared out on most of this. What's that, Ben? This is where I saw that yesterday. Crowell at Jackson. He ain't going to play the Saraland game. Saraland blowed the whistle on him for having a car. So you can't get gifts, or if you had a birthday or Christmas, sorry, buddy, can't have presents. You're going to college. Most other college guys that are going to other colleges can, but if you're going to Bama, I think it's just a lot of jealousy, really. I mean, we can tell that's what's been driving a lot of this media through this week that we've heard about other stuff. Just pure jealousy, elementary stuff. But the other part is what the SEC is going to do, and they've added to this conference stuff. And on all the big teams Ohio State has, they're going to play open with Texas. So not only are you going to play 9 conference games and keep your rival, like, I mean, is Auburn going to keep Georgia? Is Georgia going to keep Florida? Not only you're going to have all those, but an out-of-conference rival, Georgia Tech. Now you're going to be required to add a Power 5 game. So some teams that I guess that don't like Texas A&M, that rivalry has come back. Well, Texas and Oklahoma is a rivalry too. It's Red River Shootout. It's an SEC matchup now. Now they're going to have to play Big 12, a Big 10, an ACC. So they're going to have to pick one from them. I guess Pac 6 or whatever it is now, Pac 8. They're going to have to pick one of those other teams to play in there somewhere too. So we're talking about South Carolina. I'm just using them for example because they're out of conference. We use Georgia. Their rivals an out of conference team, Georgia Tech. So not only they're going to have to play, Georgia Tech, which is going to be pretty good this year. They're going to have to play, I don't know, Penn State. But I think what's going to happen, they could pick up. South Carolina could pick up UCLA. They can play Rutgers. The less than Big Ten teams. It's going to make a tough schedule. So that leaves one game for them to play. They'll have to have an open day. Here's the harsh part about it. Now, I opened this up by saying that this is something us fans are going to enjoy. I would enjoy seeing Alabama play Florida again every year. It was just, they were SEC back when all of it just started. We had an East and a West. Well, that's gone now. So what are we going to get? Are we going to get like Auburn's playing Baylor? It's a Big 12 team. Well, they'll also have to play somebody they're not usually playing, LSU. So now Auburn's got to add LSU to that. So that's going to give some teams, like it has an out-of-conference rival, like Georgia Tech, Clemson, South Carolina. But Georgia, Florida, that's going to stay. So that's not going to bother them because that'll stay as one of their conference games. But it seems like, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, they're going to have to add – Vanderbilt's going to have to play somebody. Maybe they play who would Vanderbilt play? Maybe they'd catch up with a Baylor or something. Maybe they could put them on there, or Oklahoma State. Maybe you want to keep it regional, sort of. It's kind of, I don't know. Maybe Missouri and Colorado. Colorado's in Big 12, right? Iowa State, they're part of the Big 10. That could be somebody that a team could pick up, So not only are they going to have to play, and you're going to hear about this. So some of you are maybe hearing it here first. Some of you may have just run across it on a page, reading it. You're kind of getting in from work. You're getting ready to go to the games tonight. So I'm telling you, this is going to change things in a way to where it's eventually going to start going towards what we know is going to happen. It's going to wind up being two big conferences. It's going to be the SEC and the Big 10. It's kind of going to be like how basketball opens. Like the SEC has an ACC matchup weekend where it's just SEC and ACC teams, playing all weekend. Maybe you could get an old school matchup like Bama and Miami again. It is interesting in that fan side to me. Those will be good games. And when their contract is up, the SEC's is, I think, 2032, they can come in and ask for a lot more money. But I promise you that Sankey's already been on the phone. One, to say, we're playing this other game, so this is going to make somebody some money because we're going to add – I'm just making examples here. Alabama and Florida is going to be playing regularly again. Well, that'll make some money. And those tickets to those games will sell for good money too. But the thing that started this, so we'll start from the start of it, really why, and I've already told you what the end is going to be. It's going to be two super conferences. It's going to be Big 10 SEC eventually by 2030 or 2032. What started it, Matt? Playoffs. Because this year, the committee's already said, if you've been on Twitter, go find me over there on Twitter at Big Matt 1977 2Gs. Go find me over there. Okay. Go find me over there. That's where a lot of this news comes from. Okay. The playoffs now, they said the other day that they're going to weigh a lot into strength of schedule. So it's prevalent for the SEC to add that ninth conference game because I told you the other day what we talked about, if you tuned in, I think Sunday, that, with the top 10 teams of hardest schedules from last year, like most all of them was SEC teams. Their average is ranked strength of schedule is 10 if you average all the games by 16 teams. The only other team that was in there was Ohio State. They scheduled those opening games. They always schedule somebody outside a big game. It's a big market, big money. It's a big money game. Texas going to Ohio State's going to make a lot of money. So SEC add 9 now, they will have even a better strength of schedule. So that will just more ensure them to have more teams when they go to 16-team playoff next year. So when the 16-team playoff starts, SEC would love to have all 16 spots. And they're not going to have that because you're going to have probably about 8 legitimate teams. And about half of them are probably 5 or so will make it. And you'll probably have 2 or 3 out of the 6. You have another half that will make make it to the final 8 or something. You know what I'm saying? Make it to the first round. Some of them's going to go out first round. But what if they don't? So that's why you're seeing this 9 conference games is started because the playoff committee said strength of schedule is going to be super high on our scale this year. Last year, I think they messed up on some stuff. There are some real high strength of schedule teams that won 9 or 10 that didn't get to go in. When teams that did go in had, like Indiana, that's always the team. Their strength of schedule is like 50-something. Texas wasn't no better, but they played for their conference championship. Their strength of schedule wasn't that good. It wasn't good at all. So, start game, playoff committee says strength of schedule's high. Sankey says, all right, we'll play 9. That ought to put our average strength of schedule about 6 or 7. So, when we go to 16 next year, 16-team playoff, which now Sankey did say at the media day that until we kind of get this worked out, we're going to stick with what we're doing. So, obviously, something else is going on behind the closed doors. Not only did the playoff committee say the strength of schedule is going to weigh in high of how these teams get in this year, of course, a money deal. They've talked to ESPN. You know how this works, guys. It's always about money. They're going to sell these big games. So South Carolina, again, they play Clemson. That's their rival out of conference. Now, not only do you have to play non-conference games, but you have to add another power group of 4 or power 4 team. You got to play somebody else from the Big 12. You got to play Colorado, or you have to play SMU or some ACC, or Oklahoma State's, Arizona State. Somebody, because Texas and Oklahoma's out of that Big 12 out there. So teams that have an out-of-conference rival, and just go through them in your head, out-of-conference, LSU and Arkansas, don't they play the Battle of the Boot at the end of the year? Ole Miss, Mississippi State play Egg Bowl. Alabama, Auburn play Iron Bowl. Georgia plays Georgia Tech. Tennessee plays Vanderbilt. Oklahoma plays Texas. Those are in conference. It's not too bad. But those teams that have an out-of-conference one, Florida State. Now, if Norvell at Florida State can get Florida State turned around and Gus can get some players in there and start winning some games, now Florida, poor Billy, man, their schedule's been the hardest for the past couple of years. It's either 1 or 2, man. It was like 2 or 3 last year. Now they're going to have to play Florida State. I guess they don't have to. This may change some of that, guys. You got to think about that. Auburn may take Georgia off so they could pick up they may start playing Mississippi State because they're going to have to add they're going to have to play, which they'll get Baylor next year at home. So that'll help Auburn right off the bat. But they have to play another Power 5 team plus play 9 in-conference games. So they're going to have to add a team. Auburn have to pick up Tennessee or something. And Florida's going to have to add a Big 10 ACC. I don't know. Maybe Florida already plays Miami. Their schedule wouldn't be – it could fit already. They would just have to play another conference game. So Florida would have to pick up Bama and dump Southwestern Florida, community college. And this is last part of it, and we'll move on. Ain't going to be long, just a few minutes. We're going to talk about Spring Garden Sandrock game a little bit before I head out. And I've tried to advocate for those other small teams. Look, man, Marshall and Georgia play first. Yeah, and, it's a show. It's a scrimmage. It's basically a glorified scrimmage. It's a great opportunity for the kids at Marshall to come over and play a big opponent. It's a game they can get up for, and they're going to probably get paid. I don't know what the going rate is now, $300,000-$400,000 to come over and take an L. But that money is so useful to those smaller programs, man. I've told this story before. If you hadn't heard it, I'll say it again. Mal Moore was friends. I don't know if he was a guy that was at Bama with him years ago, but he was the AD or president at Central Florida. I think it was UCF or maybe in South Florida. They would come up and take an L from Bama, and Mal talked about it. Before he died, I remember seeing this little interview he did. He's friends with this guy, and they'd pay him $275,000. And their guy he's friends with, they needed money for their band that year. And they would come up and catch an L from Bama, and they would get all new bands. Just, new room, new equipment, fix up their band, their bus for the band people ride on. That's a little bit just a little small piece of what we can hang on to of an old piece of, traditional kind of college football. Yeah, back in the day, I was looking through some old schedules. Swanee used to, come play Alabama and Auburn and stuff. Small schools, man. Back in the day, there was like Sanford here in the state, small, tiny. We're talking about back in the 30s. There wasn't no SEC. It was like, what was it called? AIAA or SIAA, or just it was, sports writer papers, and the conference, just like the South Conference. There wasn't Missouri and even Arkansas and all them. None of them was in the SEC then. Georgia Tech was in the SEC, the South Conference back then. That's going to go away. They may get to pick up. You got to have an off week. You got 12 weeks. Florida's going to play, going to have these 3 open games they're going to have. We're using Florida, for example. Well, Florida State's 1. All right, that leaves them 2. Well, they got to play another Power 4 team. So Florida picks up Indiana. I'm just saying. All right. Now they got one more game. You got to have an off week, usually before one of your games in the middle of the season there. So basically, I guess next year starting, that's why I said that the 8 that we already play, we was already strength of schedule number 10, because the 8 we play are ranked so much higher than the Big Tens, because their bottom 5 or their bottom 6 are bad. They're not even ranked in top 50 or something. And, the bad teams here in the SEC, like the lower winning teams last year, like, Mississippi State and Auburn and usually Vanderbilt. Well, now what? And if you're one of those teams, man, you got to start doing something, because Auburn plays Bama and Georgia, 2 best teams in the conference every year. Now they don't have an out-of-conference rival, so they're going to have to keep a Baylor, which they'll have next year at home. We're going to have to add another conference game. They're going to have to play somebody else in the conference. So Auburn catches Texas and Oklahoma this year. Oh, God. They're going to play Texas, Bama, and Georgia and have to catch another Power 4 team. So I guess the other Power 4 teams will be, Bama may pick up Rutgers, or I don't know, instead of playing, Slidell the week before the Iron Bowl, they'll play UCLA or, a smaller Big Ten, or Oklahoma State, or, somebody hadn't been that great or something. So, guys, 9 conference games coming next year. SEC is going to have to play 9 conference games. And that's not all. You got to go the and. Some people are not seeing all this. And they excuse me. And they also have to play another Power 4 team outside their conference. They got to play somebody from Big 12, Big 10, ACC, Pac 8, whatever you want to call it out there. And the poor Sidales and the Austin Peays and those schools, I don't know. I guess they'll have to go up on their price of tickets or something for games because they're not, I mean, they're going to miss. Like Slidell could play like Georgia, Auburn, and Bama. Well, they just made like $2 or $3 million for playing them 3. Now they're taking L's on all 3 of them, but that's $3 million. I mean, or I'm just saying, or $2 million to play all 3 of them. That's money they use to keep their fields fixed, and I don't know, probably pay some assistants, and that's going away. And I'm kind of going to miss that. So you heard it here first. 9 conference games coming to the SEC. We had to cut this thing on and tell everybody about it. Ben Symington Christian has announced that they will be playing JV, not the varsity, this year. So Victory Christian will start 1-0 after earning a forfeit win over. Okay. Tomorrow night will be the 10th anniversary of Lawrence Community in East Lawrence. 7 overtime game. Wow. Played in August of 2015. Gosh, darn. 10 overtimes. 10? Would you say how many overtimes? 7 overtimes. Gosh, darn. 10 years ago. So tonight, high school football action here in the great state of Alabama. We're going to be seeing the Fighting Ragsdales take on the new esteemed coach at Sandrock. Coach Nelson comes in over from Sylvania. Sorry, he was over at Sylvania for a year. Coached under Coach Willingham a lot from that area over there. So tonight, what can we look forward to? Maybe no, we don't pick games because I just don't. I don't like picking games. I've coached kids and got kids and been with high school balls. It's just not important to pick a winner. These kids are just out there having a good time and just doing their best to soak up those Friday night lights before they go on to their careers and whatever it is they do for a living. So I don't pick games. We'll pick up the grown-ups, college and pro games. So what can you expect to see tonight? Sandrock-wise, they're both right off the bat. Both teams are young. They both lost a good bit of seniors. I think I heard Coach Ragsdale say that they had 8 seniors, I think, and about 7 or 8 juniors and some sophomores. So Sandrock, a couple of seniors on this class. I think he said 6 or 7, so it's kind of close maybe. Because I know Alex and the quarterback and them, not seniors yet. So I know Coach Nelson has, just in talking, he's done some interviews that he's kind of, cut the playbook down for them a little bit and come in to not really just change the whole idea of, what they're doing, but and somewhat make it more, I guess, player friendly, I guess. I don't know, just that's his style. And Coach Heath done his thing over there and he had some success over there and really enjoyed him. And I'll probably see him tonight. And I really like talking to him. He's fun to talk to. Great guy. So you're going to see 2 kind of medium younger teams, some younger players, probably a lot of 10th, 11th graders probably squaring off against each other. Knowing quarterback play, probably going to see Sandrock throw the ball around some. They got some speed in the backfield. If they can block the plays up front, they're going to look to make a play at the line of scrimmage. Now, on that other side, Spring Garden defensively, well, Coach Ragsdale being defensive coach of the year at one time, 2A, that's his specialty. And Draven's over there doing the defense now, and I told him he did a great job last year. Come in, he's from over there, and year 1 come in and did a good job. So you can expect their defense to play hard. They're going to tackle you. and they're going to stay in the game. They're going to play tough all night. And Sandrock, like I said, they're probably going to try to throw the ball some. I mean, Alec he's a good quarterback, man. He's got the opportunity is there for him to maybe, catch his brother and pass ace, because he was like tied or right there, with the records for Sandrock. And, all the McMeekins, good Lord, they was, all the quarterback over there forever. So he's got some bigger shoes to fill. Now, vice versa, you get Spring Garden on offense and Sandrock on defense. They're going to look different than probably what you've seen last year. And it's so weird. We're not going to have any Welch boys over there. Ain't that going to be – that's going to be weird. It just – I coached Luke when he was, back in – we played Pee Wee ball around here, and that was 15 years ago. And then the brothers come through and Cam, and then it's just going to be weird, not seeing some Welches out there at Spring Garden. But – he likes to run the football, and it's definitely going to be a line of scrimmage battle for them. Are they going to throw it probably as much as that when they had Barber at quarterback? I wouldn't guess so. I don't know, because I ain't seen him play yet. So I really honestly can't say. But, Ruark's going to be the quarterback there at Spring Garden, and coaches have talked highly about him. And one thing you can always count on that the coaches have talked about over there, they show up every day, they work hard in the weight room, and just like everywhere, really in the county, mostly, except Center, and they can't help because they have just a high school. But they get kids, they have seventh graders in there working out. Small school, Cedar Bluff and Galesville and Spring Garden. Sandrock there, they, get kids young working out. So are those young guys that got to watch Cam play, those young guys that Connor Bates just played, seemed like he played forever. Going to miss seeing all those guys over there. Are they ready for the preparation they've seen, from a young age? Are they ready to get in there and run the ball and play tough? I'm sure they are. And again, Sandrock defensively, they're going to look different up front. I think it's going to be a good equal matchup. Really, I do. It'll probably a lot of it. I think when you have teams that are maybe kind of close in some, like when you put them together positions, maybe kind of close in age and stuff. Some of it's just going to come down to coaching and play calling. Maybe luck of the ball. Maybe one team don't have a drop on a third and short, if they throw it, or penalties. Usually if you have a younger team, sometimes you run into a lot of penalties because they're nervous and they want to do a good job and they want to make their coaches proud. And they want to make their community proud, because these are two very, very proud communities in what they do in playing football. And for the past, this will be the third or fourth year of kicking off the high school football around here with Thursday night kickoff. So over at Jackaway Field, and I'm excited to get over there and see the guys play and reconnect with some of the parents. Some of them you see out in town, some of them you don't. Some of them you'll see them during the season. So I'm excited to run into some of those people and see how it turns out. And I think it's, again, we don't pick games. I just don't. I think it's going to come down to a lot of coaching over the history of the game. If you're going to pick a game over the past couple of years, since like 23 or 22, 23, 24, Spring Garden has led the series. Whether it's at their house or going over there, they've been taking care of business. So I think it's going to be a good game, and I'm excited to go there and check it out. So let's hit the old peanut gallery here before we get off. UMass Wright being says we'll have a new coach this season. Sam Williams will take over for Terry Curtis. What about that? Now, you're talking about a Hall of Famer and a guy that gets the best out of the players. That Terry Curtis. Him and Danny Horn and Paul Benefield and Steve Smith. Those are the guys that you say when you talk about high school football, Alabama. Ask any coach in the state. Name their four. I bet money. at least 3 of those 4 come up. Curtis, Benefield, Coach Danny Horn, and Coach Smith Steve is at Westbrook. He's right behind those. He's a little young. Well, he's a good bit younger. He's younger than them. So, I mean, Coach Smith still got he can coach 20 more years probably if he wanted to. You don't have to. I could see him doing this for at least 6 or 7 more. So, shout out Coach Curtis. UMS Wright. Wow, what a man! I tell you what, you didn't want to show up there and play them State. And their fans, man, we were at Auburn watching a game one time, and they were playing in the other bracket, and I think they was going to play after the team we went to watch. Who did we go to see that year? I can't remember. Man, their fans show up. I'm talking about freaking charter buses with daggum. They had tables lined up with food, and all the parents would UMS Wright clothes and hats and flags. They show up. So you got to tip your cap to Coach Curtis. Thank you, Coach, for the time you put in, and there's no telling how many lives that he's helped positively affect young men and young girls too, just being around the school. And when you're a coach like them, man, those guys are winners, and their positivity rubs off on all the sports, because when you're successful like that, I know UMS Wright's a little bigger school, but those schools, all the coaches are together. That's the first thing you notice. I'll go to all the coaches I just mentioned. They're all involved with the youth sports, and I've seen Coach Smith at softball games and stuff. I mean, baseball games. Coach Smith loves baseball. He does. He loves baseball too. And Coach Benefield loves basketball. He loves high school basketball. So it's an involvement to all those coaches. So shout out Coach Curtis for golly, I don't know how many years. He's been there a while. So that'll wrap it up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Know when we come on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 6 o'clock. And we'll see you guys back here Sunday night at 6, and we'll have plenty of high school football games to talk about. A little bit of college too. Iowa State, K-State, they're going to play in Ireland, so we'll make sure we go through those very well. And if you're curious about Alabama-Florida State game, if you're a Bama fan, had a video just released Tuesday. Go back and watch it. It's got a picture. It just says week 1 on there, Florida State and Alabama. Total breakdown of Florida State. A deep dive, notes, 2-3 pages of stuff that I went through and studied for a couple hours. Florida State's got a lot of seniors. Their offensive line is all seniors. So if you want to know more about that, go over there and find out more about Florida State. They have some guys in the backfield surprise you, some guys on defensive depth, and the starters, the transferred starters that are coming in Florida State. Give you an idea of where the Tide will stand with Florida State week 1. And then next Tuesday, I'll do Baylor. We'll look into them, talk more about their quarterback. We know one of their tailbacks is out, their number 2 guy, but we'll talk about their offensive line, what kind of guys they've had to come in, and what's their corners look like. I've studied into Baylor a little bit. So far, it seems like some of the fans are a little worried about their defensive backfield over at Baylor, and that'll be a huge problem trying to cover Simmons and of course Singleton and of course Cam. So they got 3 good guys, receivers, and if Baylor's D-backs are struggling a little bit, it's probably not the team you want to play week 1. But Coach Aranda defense is their Baylor's defense should be able to keep them in the games somewhat, but I think Auburn still should just be able to out-athlete them. So, all right, that's all I got for you tonight. Terry Curtis, UMS Wright, for 26 years. I knew it had to be 25 or 30. So shout out to Coach Curtis again. Never got to talk to him, got to run by him, at a game one time. I think I had run into him at UAB, and he was talking to some other coaches, and I wasn't just going to go up to him and interrupt. But all the great ones, man, are getting older and retiring out. So, all right, if you ain't got nothing to do tonight, It's the game of the week here, game of the night, Thursday night. Come on over to Sandrock and support the county, support the players, and go out there and cheer for somebody. Just cheer for the county. Okay, how about that? All right, good luck to everybody. And tomorrow be at Piedmont Cherokee County game. Well, I guess we could say something about this. That game don't need to be hyped any. Everybody knows what's at stake. It's Battle of Highway 68 to run through there, and it's been owned by one team for a little while, then back to the other team for a series to lead the series for a couple of years. Now it's kind of back and forth, and Center's won a couple of years in a row, and Piedmont's got them, last year. And is it important for both teams? Yeah. Does it really mean anything by record? Well, not really. But, I mean, if you have a tie, a win over Piedmont, because Piedmont's going to be in the playoffs, a win over them, if you had a tiebreaker somewhere, it'd be a great tiebreaker. And the way this region's going to lay out, Anderson's bringing all these kids back. Coach Ginn, you assume he's how the coach that he is. Alexandria's going to be they're going to be better. Got probably most of their team back. And Hopes Bluff, Coach Rob's. I mean, he's just they're always going to be around, even when they have down years. He's been there so long, and so that game. What would I expect for Piedmont and Center game? Number one, I expect it to be packed out. I expect it to be loud on both sides. I'm curious about some offensive play from Piedmont. It looks like in their jamboree they did well moving the ball both ways. Pinto's something to deal with. He's a very special talent. Defensively, I don't know. I hadn't seen enough. I know they beat Alexandria in their jamboree over there. That'll probably be something I'm interested in seeing. Cherokee County defense, yes, Coach Endo has taken another job, and Coach Chandler's he's been there anyway. It's not like it's some new coach. Maybe just a little different place here or there, but you can still look forward to. Cherokee County prides themselves on trying to knock your helmet off, and that's not going to change no matter who's there. You can guarantee you, Coach Kelly, that's just the MO. That's what we're going to do. They play hard football. He's an old Georgia boy. His daddy coached. He's an old Georgia guy. They're going to play hard. And they're going to have a good backfield again this year. I know, without Tay running back there, have some extra, legs, and without Tristan being an extra legs back there running two strong running backs graduating. Yeah, sure to be different. But with little Q in there, he's fast, very fast. And Keyshawn's back. He didn't graduate, guys, and he looks better. His mind is – Keyshawn's ready. I can – just by talking to him, he's growing in the game. He's a senior. He's ready to be leader out there. And little Griffin, he's grown. He did a good job last year, man. I for what Coach Kelly asked of him, I thought he did really good. So you'll probably see both these teams, Center and Piedmont, throw the ball around some. They're both going to probably try to run the ball to set up the pass. Cherokee County's always leaned a little more towards run, but I've had them now. I think got somebody that can throw it. And don't forget about Mosley. He's still there. Committed to Duke. Their line got a lot of the same guys. Landon's not there. He's graduated, but you still got Asa, and he's signed to go to play college. Where's he going to? He's going to Middle Tennessee, I think, or Western Kentucky. You got the same center. That helps. My son played center position, and when you got the same snapper back from last year, quarterback snapper connection, little James out there, him and Griffin's going to be, snapping to him again. I think that's really important. Because being the center, not only you have to snap the ball, you got to block. So it ain't just blocking. You got to snap it and block. And you got one arm down between your legs for a second while you snap it. Then you got to get ready to block. It's the toughest job on line. It is. Been there, done that. My son done it for years. It's hard. And James did a great job last year. Went back, watched film on him, did a good job. I think their offensive line will be ready, and I look for them to throw the ball a little bit. Both of them's going to probably throw it around. So that's what I expect from that game. A little more probably passing over there at Piedmont tomorrow night. Probably see a little more run game over here at Center. Right now, Alec may get hot, and Coach Nelson may just take the training wheels off for him. Alec's not new, but for him being the coach, he means, hey, playbook. That's what we do. Well, we're not doing it. I just throw the ball. He may get over and get hot. So y'all have a great, great evening. Love all you guys. Appreciate you. God bless you. Y'all have a good evening. If you ride out to Sand Rock, come over and grab some concession stand food, support the school, and cheer for somebody. Okay. So again, thank you for tuning in here. We had to have emergency, man. This is SEC, 9 conference games, guys, and they have to play a Big Ten team, a Power 5 team also, and play non-conference games. So they're locked in for 10 games. 1 Power 4 opponent, 9 conference opponents, in the best dang conference there is. Okay, all right. We'll see you out there tonight if you're going to be there. If not, we'll catch you guys Sunday at 6. Thank you.